Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the September 28th, 2011 Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Williams has the dog this morning.
Good morning. We have a great golden retriever here, just very friendly. Going to be available on October 1st after 3 o'clock here. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the dog?
Yes, this one was picked up on Clinton Avenue, Lorain. Came in yesterday, has a stray, and also got a full house at the pound, so we appreciate it. Anybody come and get these animals out of there, please.
Okay. How many dogs do we have here?
We got a full house, totally.
Full house?
No empty cages.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, it's pretty bad.
Now let's see if the dog can do
No
anything.
need.
Anything? Oh. Oh.
Nope, doesn't want it.
Huh?
Oh, there you
There
go.
you go.
There it goes. Kind of like you, Jim. Just likes to eat.
Madam Clerk,
Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
so moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Advances, repayments.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the airport, approve modification number 1 to Richland Engineering Limited, contract for engineering services in the amount not to exceed $53,954 to be paid from the airport professional services account. Said modification is provided ongoing construction services, construction administration, observation and record drawings at actual costs and services are eligible for reimbursement from FAA at 95% federal share and 5% local share.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cordez?
Thank you, Commissioner Kalo. I do have a couple potential new hires, one in the Commissioner's office, one in the Workforce Development Agency that I wish to discuss with the Board. Also, an ongoing matter of negotiation with United Steelworkers of America. I'd I think that'll be it this morning. We need a quick morning because we had editorial board. So both of those topics are allowable under the Sunshine Law for executive session talk. So I ask at the conclusion of our regular board meetings, hey, we go into executive session to discuss those items. Thank you.
Wow, you said that fast.
Yeah.
Just trying to get like me, huh?
Yeah.
Approve and waive the reading of the same County Commissioners meeting minutes of September 21st, 2011.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Community Development, award contract to J.A. Kilby Enterprises, Inc., North Ridgeville, in the amount of $7,205 for grant assistance for Victoria George at 324 North Lake Street, South Amherst. This is for wastewater lines, bathroom floor, ADA water closet and vent, ADA shower and faucet, ADA sink faucet, and exhaust fan. 22 invitations were sent, 2 bids were received, this being the most complying with specifications, and will be paid from the CHIP home repair account, and this also includes a contingency for any unforeseen change orders.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, I have a question. This is a duplex, you're aware of that, and just making sure that she lives there and the rental income, is it rented, the other side rented out?
Yeah, I do not know whether or not it's rented out. I do know that we had confirmed her income.
You have to go, I know, but is there rental income from the other side that's been taken into account? I wasn't aware that we were allowed to do rental property as as an investment income.
The owner lives in this unit, and we had re-verified her income. And while I'm not aware exactly of what composed all of her income, she did fall well below the threshold.
Okay, so we are allowed to use rental properties.
This is her. The
It is her.
unit we're fixing is a property she lives in.
Okay,
And she is the homeowner.
Yes.
yes. Okay. Right, thank you.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Did you say aye?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Support the annual comprehensive economic development strategy, SEDS, update for 2011-2012.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Approve the analysis of impediments to Fair Housing Choice 2011 and confirm the county's commitment to affirmatively further fair housing choice and this condition of HUD funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
We're going to go to 16 first because this should be first rather than Children's Services because this is under Community Development.
Okay.
So advertise for bids for Sheffield Township Sewer Facility Improvement Project at Albany Avenue. Notice be in the Chronicle on September 30th and October 7th, and the bids be open October 17th at 2 o'clock.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under Children's Services, authorize an addition in personnel for Children's Services to utilize the agency's Visa card for 2011.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
No additional comments this morning. Thank you.
Mr. Ennis, Assistant County Prosecutor?
Commissioners, I do have one issue of pending court action that I would like to discuss in executive session.
Commissioners report.
Yeah, I have a couple things. I have a question. Somebody handed me an email and asked me if it was true or not. But it says, did you know if your house sells after 2012, you'll pay a 3.8% sales tax on it? Is that something new that's coming down from the state? Does anyone know? There's some kind of new tax coming on houses. Can somebody find that out?
Nothing I've heard of.
You haven't heard anything about that?
No clue.
No?
Where'd you get that from?
Somebody gave it to me, sent me an email and asked me that question. They heard that we have to, if you sell your house after 2012, there's going to be an additional 3.8% tax on it when you sell it. No? Hopefully that's
Okay.
not true. Can you look into it, or I don't even know how to find
Would it
out
come?
if
Yeah,
that's true or
it
not?
sounds like a rumor.
It-
Check Snopes.
Snopes. Okay, I did get a call from a county bus garage, not a county bus garage, a school bus garage within our county. And I guess Michelle Obama is now pulling all the vending machines out of the schools because she wants only healthy snacks and drinks. So you can only get like diet pop and maybe water or something. But they pulled it out of the bus garage, which is, only adults. So I was kind of disturbed by that. And then I'm not sure if it's been reported or not, but we are going to have an early primary, the March 6th primary with a December 7th filing deadline. Is that true? I saw that in some of our correspondence. So is
Yep.
that a done deal?
Yep.
Okay. And then we all went out to Penfield this week and talked to them about our sales tax, and I think we got a very good response out there, a lot of good questions. Both of my fellow commissioners did an outstanding job, especially Ted. He knows these numbers like off the top of his head. But I was disturbed, and I did call the Chronicle yesterday because it had stated in the newspaper that one of the things on the chopping block were deputies, and that was never discussed in any one of our presentations. As a matter of fact, we had talked about the fact that even during these tough economic times, we've been doing whatever we can to increase road patrol, not decrease road patrol. And I just found out this morning, we just found out if you want to come up draws, we may be even adding some more deputies on top of the 3 that we're going to see with combining our sheriff's dispatch and 911. Looks like we found out about 15 minutes ago that we're going to get a COPS grant that we've been applying for and asking for a long time. So if I'm going to turn that over to Draws right now.
Yep, you're right. Like I said, about 15 minutes ago, we got a call from Senator Brown's office indicating that the COPS grant we applied for this year has been approved, and the county is going to receive $498,000 and change to bring 2 deputies back, and this will be paid over a 3-year period. It'll be
the county responsible
a federal,
for the
yeah,
fourth year.
the county will be responsible for a portion of it, and the federal government's going to pay for the rest of it. But that'll give us 2 more additional deputies in conjunction with the 3 that you guys are going to give us back. This will give us a lot of ability to start doing what we need to do. I mean,
What portion do we have
we're
to
just
pay?
overwhelmed out
The
there.
first year's 10 or 11,000. The second year was,
Remember, Teresa?
boy.
I don't
Saying-
remember the
I have
numbers.
the
I remember we gave the
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet. Yeah, the first year was like $10,000.
Yeah, minimal.
Based on with what we're going right now, I don't see us actually getting the money for another 60 or so days, simply because once they send us the award package, we got to fill that out, send that all back. It could be 60 to 90 days where we actually get the money in our accounts.
So the first of the year, probably.
It's probably going to be close to the end of the year or first of the year.
We can just take a little additional out of the savings from the consolidation of services if the board is so desirous of that. Because we would have to find that money to match it, but
Correct.
not a lot to get a lot.
Right.
Yeah, this is the 3rd year we applied and we finally got it, but it's for 2, like I said, it's for 2 more guys, and at this point, 2 guys is going to do a lot.
Right.
So with the 3 that you guys are going to work out, and there's 2 more, we should be able to accomplish something.
Okay, that's going to bring you up to a total of how many deputies with the 5? 22?
21, 22, right around that. I'd have to look at the numbers. 21 or 22, which
Still down 10, though.
we're still down. I mean, this is going to help. We're still down, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take
Well,
it.
we've got the 2 from solid waste, the 3 from
The merger.
Consolidation of services.
Yeah.
consolidation of services, and these 2, I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that we're able to continue to provide safety for not only our citizens, but for our deputies too. You know, and we're
And that's
not
the
using,
big key. It's just the manpower, and it's the fact that we got together and really hammered this out. Be able to, you guys are instrumental in this, believe me. And okaying with the grant and everything. Once I go back to the deputies today and let them know, because when they heard that the 3 were coming back, you could tell that there was just a different attitude change, because it's like we're finally getting some relief. And now when we let them know about these other 2, it's going to help a lot. Because we've been working at this since 2009 at these levels. And the guy's been doing a good job. I mean, just in the last 3 days, we caught 3 different burglars. You know, on nights and on days. So these guys are really working at it, and our bureau's been working at it, so this will help a lot, and we thank you for it.
and you've been working really hard. Did you not give up your vacation to work on this grant?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody at the department, between the sheriff and Kavanaugh and everybody,
Everybody's
has just been doing it, but this is what our job is.
Right.
So we're
Good.
gonna
That's
keep
good
going.
news. Good news for Lorain County.
Yep.
Really, really happy about that.
Yeah, when on road patrol, and I'll talk about this during my commissioner's report, but one of the things out there, 20 minutes for backup. The one night I was there, and that was with sirens going. we were going across the county. So we had a response. One deputy needed backup, and it took 20 minutes to respond. So,
Unfortunately, that's becoming the norm.
Right.
And just simply, it's nobody's fault. It's the reality. And like I says, that's why it's going to be so imperative to get these guys back, especially these three guys. If I had my way, I'd have them in roll call at 3 o'clock today. Because it's just, even though we're starting to get into fall, it's not slowing up.
Yeah.
So anything, putting these guys on the street and reducing that type of backup response time is going to help the resident, and plus it's going to be the safety for the deputies.
Right.
So, and we're working with the townships on a lot of different ideas, so I think we're moving in the right direction as far as law enforcement.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work in getting that grant together and getting it
Thank you.
approved.
Well, you guys are part of it, because you guys approved it, so you guys got to take some credit in it too.
I'm going to take credit for this board and previous board also that we have not used our safety force. I'm going to say that again, and I was really upset when I saw that in the paper. We have not used our safety forces to try to get the sales tax passed because we believe in safety. We don't want, anything to happen to our deputies or our residents, and I don't want that on my shoulders. So, yeah. I would look for a correction today, Brad, and I didn't see it. I just combed through it real quick this morning. So, A2? I didn't see it, so I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't wake up at my normal 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning this morning, so I didn't have time to really look at it closely. But
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Strauss.
So am I to understand from the board that, we've had individual discussions, but we are authorizing here publicly those 3 deputies? Because I haven't had a combined conversation in any depth with any, but I knew it was coming this week. So is that a go from all the commissioners?
I would say, yeah. We're
Yes,
going to
for
start
me.
seeing the savings when? From the
Well, we'll start seeing the savings later in the year. I anticipate probably a go date sometime late in October. For practical purposes, we're ready technically to make the move. We're finishing up the ORI with the state, which they have approved the MOU, and I signed on behalf of the board for the ORI. And we're doing interviewing now of potential new hires for those positions with respect to the folks that are going to be offered employment from, potential employment from the current ranks of the dispatchers. So I anticipate that being done in about 2 weeks. And then we can come up with a firmer date of when we want to make the transition, which will be very seamless to most people. They'll just be in a different location under a different hiring authority, but doing basically a similar job. And we've already hired a dispatch supervisor, so that savings is already there for the general fund.
Mm-hmm.
So when will we see the savings? Hopefully beginning sometime in November and December, but the real savings will be in a mature year that we see in 2012 to relieve some of the pressure on the general fund.
Well, I would like to make a motion to start making whatever we need, the procedure to get those other 3 deputies back on the road as soon as possible.
Do we need an emotion for that?
Yeah, is it something you need a resolution by, or just personnel action?
It'd be fairly symbolic, but ceremonial. But you could, but just just seeing the agreement here is sufficient for me to I already told the sheriff last week to be prepared because they'll be recalling some deputies, and I know that takes a little bit of time, and that he should be ready to begin that
Right.
process pretty quick.
Okay.
So it's up to the board. A
say
resolution
yes.
doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
I think I have an agreement between the other.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to do it. The sheriff kept his end of the bargain on it, and when we walked through and talked about this, it was 3 deputies, and it's the right thing to do, so I'm on board with bringing them back.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Is that a
And she
second?
needs a roll call. Somebody's got to do the second.
Okay.
Oh,
Is that a
I second.
Tom?
Okay, thank you.
Ms.
Go ahead.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Well, I wasn't sure because he said we didn't really need a resolution, so I didn't know we were going forward with
Still
that.
still nice.
Okay.
And I'll communicate the final to the sheriff this afternoon.
Okay. I also attended my Goodwill meeting on Monday. It was kind of sullen because Jerry Lewandowski, I told you last week, had passed away, and he was our chairman. So it's kind of sad day, but they're still doing a lot of good things. I saw in the news today, Goodwill in Cleveland at Wolstein Center is going to be having a job fair, and didn't really catch the date, but
Today.
Is it today?
It's today. I saw it on
Okay.
the news this morning.
Our Goodwill here in Lorain is going to be having a job fair on October 5th, and it's going to be on the 1600 Broadway at Goodwill Industries, and that will be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and they already have 21 employers signed up to be at this job fair, and the majority of them will even take ex-offenders, so that's a good thing. And what they want you to know is participants should be prepared to be interviewed, should have an updated resume to give to these employers, and dress accordingly like you were going on a job interview, and participants have been hired on the spot at these job fairs. So it's a good opportunity for those people that are looking for a job. And also the Goodwill store in Oberlin is open now, but they are going to have their grand opening on October 13th at 10 a.m. So anybody wants to go and purchase some clothes or some goods or textiles, whatever. They got a lot of good stuff. So I believe that is the end of my van rides year to date for Good Wheels vans. 2,484 rides so far this year. So, and it wasn't even a full year. They're doing a good job. Thanks. That's it.
Last Thursday, Don Romantic, our Community Development Director, and myself attended a meeting in Columbus with Nate Green, who is going to be one of the directors of the new Jobs Ohio plan. Actually fortunate for Lorain County because Mr. Romantic has a relationship with Nate Green. They had some very good dialogue for our 2.5-hour meeting. And we're looking forward to working with whatever the new system turns out. Huh, Don?
Yes.
Also, I'd like to say congratulations. I attended the Hispanic Fund event on Saturday night. Frank Hernandez, Elba Armstrong, and Father Bob Reedy were recognized for their years of service to the Hispanic community. Very nice event. Jose Ramirez, the outgoing president, did a very nice job. Father Bob was with Sacred Heart at one point, and he wasn't going to be able to attend the event, and because he was supposed to be in El Salvador, and his mother ended up getting sick, and she actually passed away in the last day or so. But it's a great job he's done for the community over the years. Again, the Penfield event, I'd like to thank my commissioners, also the residents who showed up. I'd also like to thank Judge Berta from Domestic Relations, Sheriff's Committee, Prosecutor Dennis Will, and our coroner Steve Evans for doing very nice presentations, explaining to the public what we actually do. End of my report.
Okay. Well, Thursday, as I mentioned earlier, I went on road patrol with the County Sheriff's Department. Spent 5 hours with them. First hours just kind of going through roll call and that. In 4 hours, we went on 106 miles. We traveled all around the county, from the southern part up to Eaton Township, out to Brown Hill, back to Columbia, and a variety of calls, breaking and entering, harassment calls. An AK-47 with a 100-round clip was stolen from a home with other weapons. And then the final one was chasing a goat that got abandoned on a property in Columbia Station. And that was probably my favorite one, but we were hoping to catch and bring it to Mr. Cordez's office. But the one thing that I seen there, it was nonstop. The deputies were just going back and forth, multiple backup calls on it, and the guys didn't get a break. We definitely need more deputies on the road. We were in one area responding to a call, finished the call up, got another call that came in. It was actually about 5 houses down from the original call, but we had to bypass that one to do backup. So it wasn't very efficient, but in the priority list, we had to drive to the other part of the county. So that call didn't get responded probably until the next day. So the deputies are doing a great job. 3 road deputies. Sheriff's doing a good job trying to split the county, but being the 5th largest county in the area and having 3 deputies, it's just they do an amazing job. And no disrespect when I say this, I'm glad I don't have to do it. So, after that, Teresa, nothing but compliments again for the record retention that you had on Friday. We had a lot of elected officials in from different counties and the townships. So another that-a-boy, or that-a-girl, I should say. Heard it was well attended, and thank you again for all the work that you do.
Yeah, we had 134 registered.
Wow.
Good.
And they were all very impressed with the transportation center.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, very
Catering
impressed, so,
station.
Yes.
But coming up, I'm going to be meeting with the Midville Women's Club on Monday, October 3rd for Chicken Paprikash to talk about the sales tax. You're welcome to attend. I've heard they got great food. And then on October 19th in New Russia Township, they're setting up a meeting to talk about the sales tax as well.
Is that the date John Kowinski got, October 19th?
October 19th. And we're
7
looking at
o'clock
7
again?
o'clock, 7 to 9. So, again, thank you for everyone that was involved with the Penfield Township meeting. Thank you, commissioners, for coming out. I believe it was one of our best meetings that we had. We were all on the same page. And while it did take us a while to get things to going, I think it was important to wait and find out what we heard from the state, to hear the cuts, to actually get numbers, and to prepare for it. The one thing we don't want to do is go through and jump into something without having all the facts. So thank you to the other elected officials that came out. And I want to give special thanks to my assistant, Mr. Lynch, for working so hard on getting that event put together in a timely manner. So,
Good job.
end of my report.
We received the petition and map for proposed vacation of portion of Russell Street, Sheffield Township. I sent this out to the utility companies as well as the engineer for review. And then I'll schedule, that's for or House Praise. So that finally came
good.
back, so.
He stopped to see me yesterday morning about 7:30 in the morning.
I received that, I let him know that I did. He does have to withdraw the other one, so.
Okay.
That's on the process, so. And then, yes, like I said, everybody was very impressed with the transportation center, and we had people from Wood County, Carroll County, some townships I never heard of, but they're way down south somewhere. So,
I'm
very
just
good.
curious, on number 10 under board correspondence, Mr. Cortez, it says Wellington Township trustee request approval for enrollment into our county health plan benefits. Are they just automatically, do we automatically let them in when they request to be a part of our health care?
That would depend. Yeah, I mean, there's certain stipulations and requirements, and we do have contracts that we do. Currently, a review is underway with regard to medical questionnaire. The one thing we don't want to do is buy into some significant claim volume that's going to weigh down the plan for the other 2,000 contracts, almost 5,000 members that we run.
Yeah.
I get to say that because a lot of times people don't realize that we run such a large self-insured healthcare plan. It runs about $23 million a year. The unfortunate part with the township is they only have one employee who wants in. So that doesn't really do a lot for us. It's more of a burden to us to assume such a small group, but we do try to help out the townships and the smaller political subdivision entities by allowing enrollment into our healthcare plan. So we're looking at it if there's no negative history that what we call buying, claims. We'll probably recommend to the board that we give them the opportunity to join the plan. And they also have a small commitment to cash reserves that we put aside And that, once that responsibility is met, we can finish a contract with them.
Okay.
But there's been interest from 2 or 3 others that we're talking with right now. And we're going to step up our efforts next year with regard to the county's health insurance plan, try to get a few more groups. And also, just because we have it on the topic, our life insurance is out there for group enrollment too, and we've partnered with, even with the city of Lorain, we do the life insurance and for their active and retired employees, plus all the county employees and all the county agencies and townships and villages.
Okay.
Board correspondence?
Move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Public comment?
Anyone wishing to address the board this morning?
Elizabeth, you're all alone today.
Elizabeth Rummix Oberlin. The other two could not come for various reasons, and far be it from me to let a meeting go by without an Oberlin person holding court. Two things. One, on Saturday, I and a friend who had a large accumulation took advantage of the free shredding at the center. I had not been there before. I'm not very familiar with that part of Elyria, and it was a very positive experience. We thought we might be in a big line and have to wait, and who knew what other bureaucracy we'd have to fight and so forth. But we drove up, there was no one else there. We handed over what we had. I got rid of paint that has been in the basement for probably 10 or 15 years, and it was a very positive experience. I was surprised that it didn't seem that more people were taking advantage of it, but perhaps that's because of the time we were there, which was early because we expected a long line. And I am very impressed with the looks of the center. I have one suggestion, and perhaps I missed it. Is it possible to have a sign pointing to the turnoff for the center? Because I had to stop and say, I know it's here, but exactly where is it? It may be that laws don't permit that sort of thing, but that might be very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yes? Do we try to do that?
A couple comments quickly. Thank you. We have surpassed 15,000 households. The reason that there's not a line there is because we get them in and get them out.
You're
And
so efficient.
That's the concept there. The Lorain County Port Authority owns the building. The commissioners contract with the Port Authority for the housing of the collection center. We have the one sign on Abbey. We've been trying to get a location down on the end because we don't own any property there to have a sign saying that the collection center is down.
Well,
down
I
the
came
way.
along Broad Street because I
Right.
wasn't sure of the other route, yeah.
We're still looking into that, but we don't own a location down there. We'd have to either rent or buy, and we can't put anything in the right of way. Plus, I'm sad to tell you that that nice sign we have there that tells the hours and stuff has been vandalized and kicked in and broken, and so we've replaced it, and we're hoping that this sign lasts a little longer.
We raised it up higher, didn't we?
Well, unfortunately in Elyria, the height limit is such that, a midget could jump up and knock the sign down when you get it up in the air. So I wanted to get it way up, and we weren't able to do that. But we are working on that. Excuse me?
They're one of our midget constituency. You ran them off, Jim.
Yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? Excuse me, let me retract that. A short person.
I mean, those newspapers are just a right.
Well, I have
But-
to say that my experiences with the Motor Vehicle Bureau down in Wellington and now with this one have been very positive. The other thing, this is continuing education, number 13, what is the comprehensive economic development strategy? Could there be a couple of sentences about what this means?
Don, would you like to join us for an answer for Elizabeth?
Thank you.
The comprehensive economic development strategy is a process and a report whereby the local communities get together and discuss and rank projects for public works, primarily road, sewer, water towers, those type of things. And it's a requirement of the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. And in order to apply for funds through the EDA, as it's known, you need to be ranked, you need to be listed on the project, and typically you need to be ranked #1 for the region. Our region right now is Lorain County as a whole. The current #1 ranking is a water tower out on the west side of Lorain, and then there are some other communities that are in there. In order to expand on it just a little bit more, you do need to have a high unemployment or a low per capita income. And currently, even though unemployment here is not great, and could be much better, because of the nation, there are only a few places within Lorain County that would actually be eligible. The county as a whole this year is not. And that changes every year as our conditions change and the nation's can change.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since Elizabeth brought up, Commissioner, can we have Keith talk about
That's
that
what I was
shredding?
just going to
Oh.
ask him to come up and let us know how the shredding went over the weekend.
I was coming. That's
Okay.
because I came down for you. We had 194 vehicles, did 4,860 pounds of paper. Be watching, because we're going to come back and do one in October. Just don't have the date firmed up yet with the contractor, but we'll be doing another shred day in October.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Also, if you saw, I copied you on an email that I sent to the Board of Elections. They were looking to consolidate a few sites, and they were talking about using the collection center as a site if it was a day that we weren't doing collections. And clearly, we can schedule the dates we do collection. We try to keep them fixed, though. But I have offered I think what's a better proposal, which would be the front of that building alongside transit there, because it has great parking and access. And we may need to do a little work with them to get some temporary barriers put up inside the building, but it will lower the cost of what they're doing. And we're trying to strategically work with the Board of Elections to hold down some of those costs. And they're working real hard at that. So we may be having, that may be a polling place and some other things taking place over there, at least a collection point, excuse me, not a polling, collection point.
Tonight from 7
Right.
p.m. to 10.
Correct, so I
Collect the
misspoke.
ballots.
So we'll see if we
Just
can
don't
work
get
it out.
'em shredded.
No, we won't get them shredded, and we won't recycle them either.
Anyone else wishing to address the board this morning? Make a motion to go in executive session as outlined by our county administrator and county prosecutor.
I'll second.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.
Hey, buddy, how you doing there? Here, have a treat, okay? No one can deny the loving devotion we get from our dogs, and I think we all agree we get back more love than we give them. I'm Dick Goddard. I'm reminding you, if you share your love with a dog, you'll never regret it. There's really nothing like a dog to spark up your life, whether you're a youngster, a senior citizen, or somewhere in between. And dogs have a whole lot of affection to share. Okay, is that good? You don't have to go far to hear heartwarming adoption stories.
With my husband is like saying man's best friend. He truly loves that dog. He feels it's part human. It's his second daughter, as Erica said. It's definitely a prize. She's queen of the house, basically. She's a good lover. She gives us a lot of attention. She's a good girl.
We had a cat before we had Abby, and Abby adapted very well. She is best friends with that cat. She will not harm that cat in any way. She's amazing. I love her. When I'm in bed at night, Abby will jump up with me and she will pull the covers back and she will lay under the covers and lay her head on the pillow just like a human.
I encourage anyone to go to the Lorain County Kennel to adopt a dog. It's given our family great satisfaction and a great reward.
After, you know, a bad day at work or anytime you come home, it's just always nice. They kind of turn your mood around when you come in the door, and they wagging their tails and jumping on you, and it's a great feeling to know that they're happy to see you and that they love you just as much as you love them. She is good with our other dog. She's good with people. She likes attention, and she likes to cuddle up with you.
It's funny when Lily, when you kind of discipline her sometimes when she does something bad, or she always seems to roll on her back and put her paws in the air and just look up at you with a sad look. So it's kind of hard to even get mad at her when she does something like that. So we kind of laugh at that.
And it's always amusing when she does get a spurt of energy and want to run around, and we're always like, oh my gosh, Lily's going to play now.
Yeah,
so
like sometimes, like when I'm on the couch or whatever, and she'll hop down, and she always like tries to bite her own tail, and then that kind of like keys on our other dog, Rocky, to chime in and try to, you know, bite at her tail a little bit, and then they start playing around a little bit.
One day we came home with some food from, I just really wanted a burger. So we had a burger and I had it sitting on the tray table by the couch, and I got up for a minute and got a drink, came back, and Lily was licking her lips. She had eaten the whole thing, and I was not very happy with her. So I screamed and told Kurt to come down and get her away from me because I was just so upset. But we both lived, and I was fine afterwards. One of the best things about adopting a dog from the kennel, at least for us, was again just giving this dog, who knows what would have happened to her, a new life, and also giving our other dog a companion during the day. It's just fun to have the two dogs and take them for walks and watch them play, and it brought us closer as well.
You know, it just makes you feel better as a person that, you know, you're giving a dog a better chance to live a life.
Actually, I enjoy the exercise because I need to, trying to lose weight. Salem makes me get out of the house every day. And so I have to take him for a walk, even if I don't want to. And he's not that much trouble because he was pretty much housebroken when I got him from the pound. I really like the older pet because Salem was kind of, whoever had him before, they really kind of housebroke him. So I didn't really have to go through the potty training deal. I just had to let him out and find a place for him to go. And I think older pets, especially for people who don't have children, are kind of good because Salem, he's real playful, but he's not, he gets tired and he lays down and he doesn't want to be bothered, and that's fine with me. So he's not always wanting to play, you know, because puppies have a lot of energy. And Salem has quite a bit of energy, but sometimes he just lays on his pillow and he's like, don't bother me, I won't bother you. And sometimes when he wants to play, and that's okay. I got Salem at the Lorain County Dog Pound. I found him on the internet, actually. They had his picture on the internet, and so I called and he was still there, and so I immediately went over and looked at him. We went outside and played, and he jumped in the car and wouldn't get out, and there we were. So we were on our way home. So it was love at first sight. He's a very good companion. I can always depend on him to be here and greet me with, you know, open arms when I come in the door. He's very protective of me, and he lets me know when anyone is outside or in the driveway. So I feel safe with Salem. You know, even though he's a small dog, he gives me a safe feeling just in my own home. If I'm having a bad day sometimes and I'm just not in a real good mood, you know, he'll come up and snuggle up to me like, hey Mom, it's okay. I think other people should adopt a pet, and even an older dog. The Lorain County Pound has so many wonderful dogs. All you have to do is go over there and look. I mean, even now, I still go on the website and I tell Salem, don't you want a little brother or sister? Because they have all these little cute dogs over there, and they all need good homes. And if you're looking to adopt a pet, I suggest you try the Lorain County Dog Pound first. I mean, you pay for the license and just a nominal fee, and you got a great dog and a great companion and somebody that's going to be in your life for the rest of your life, and they'll love you no matter what.
Give the Lorain County Dog Kennel a call or check their website for photos of currently available dogs. Remember, your best friend is just waiting for you.
Pedestrian injuries represent the second largest number in motor-related deaths. In the current report by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, of the 812 traffic fatalities for children ages 5 to 9, almost one-third, that's 254, were pedestrian fatalities. These numbers were just very staggering to me in this office. Most of these were from pedestrian crossings, children not educated in crossing streets where there are sidewalks and obviously stoplights, or where there are no sidewalks and there are stop signs. So basically, it was based on the fact that they aren't getting proper education, or they hadn't any education on how to cross streets with sidewalks or without sidewalks. So that's what really got us motivated to look into this and do something about it.
County Engineer's Office is quite proud to announce that the Safe Routes to School program has been initiated throughout Lorain County. We're very excited about this. To help these children from grades K to 4, teaching them to walk the street safely is very important to us. We've seen statistics that quite frankly shock us. Many times we read and see stories of pedestrians being hit by automobiles in Lorain County, and it just tears my heart to see these children from K to 4 part of that. This program is to stop that, to help diminish those type of situations and educate these children on crossing the street safely. And we're quite happy to announce that.
Most of our workshop was developed and made in-house. Simulated sidewalks, simulated streets. We have actual working stoplights, the pedestrian crossing signs that actually work, operational railroad crossings. We also have the regular road signs like your pedestrian crossing, your stop sign, your railroad sign. So we have all of these different things that the children can not only visualize, but then we actually interact the children in those situations so they can not only see, but they can use these in their learning abilities on how to cross the streets with and without sidewalks. We've had so many good responses back from the children, and of course it's just like anything else with children. When you ask for volunteers, when you're talking in a group of 60 and you can only have 8, it's amazing at the hands that go up. You know, does anybody want to volunteer? Well, everybody wants to volunteer. We make them go over these skills that we're trying to teach them, not only the volunteers, but the group as a whole. So basically we have the whole class interacting. So if they say left, right, left, behind you, in front of you once, they say it at least 8 or 10 times before the workshop is over. So we've had many teachers and many principals tell us, and we even had one child that came up to us and said, you know what, Miss Spansky, we were going to cross the street the other day and we remembered, look left, look right, look left. So that was very rewarding. And so I think the repetition, the interaction with the children and with the items in our workshop is very important to them and to us. Before you even go into the safety part of it, they're in awe over the traffic light, and then our railroad crossing signals actually work. So they're just like, oh, ooh. And we get up there and we tell them, and we even give them some trick questions. You know, we'll say, well, we can see that train all the way down the track. Do you think we can make it, because you're fast and I'm fast and we can run? And of course they're very enthusiastic and no, we shouldn't do this. So we teach them that in some urban areas you will not have the gates that come down to keep you actually from crossing, that you may just have 2 sets of tracks, and just because one goes by and the signals stop doesn't mean that another one can't come from the other direction. So we tell them it's very, very imperative that they stay back from the tracks and they wait till those signals stop and to look both ways. And even once those signals stop, to look both ways, and they should never run across the railroad tracks. They should walk and continue to look both ways, because it's not safe and they could fall, they could injure themselves. If they're alone, if they're not with someone, it could be very dangerous, because not only could they injure themselves, they may not have help if there is a train coming, because they are so small. And as you know, some of those tracks are very large, and you're talking in kindergarten through 4th grade, some of those children are very small children. The main thing is that we tell them that only you know when it's safe. You have to make that ultimate decision. So make sure that you know that it's safe before you cross those railroad tracks or a street. One of the other things that we cover in the safety workshop, and it's also repeated in our video, children don't have that perception of the miles per hour. It's very dangerous. And the same thing with trains. We tell them that train could take, forever. It's way down there, but we don't know the actual miles per hour. We decided to use videos. The first one is geared for kindergarten and 1st grade, and that is Otto the Otto, put out by AAA.
Hi kids! A lot of times you have to walk to get to places. And when you're walking, you have to be especially careful of cars and bicycles. Oh no! Those kids are walking the wrong way! That's dangerous! I'm going to talk with these kids. Down at the clubhouse, they're talking about the safe way to walk on streets without sidewalks.
I say you can walk across the street anywhere you want, as long as you look first. And don't get squished flat by a car. That's a fairly simple way of looking at safety. There are actual rules and laws for walking. Yeah, but the most important one is you don't get squished flat. Who's right, Maggie? Patrick or us?
I guess in a sense, everyone's right. The main idea is to get there safely, but there are some rules to help you get there safely, like don't run out into the street without looking.
The second video, we show 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, and it is put together by the National Safety Council along with Honda, and they developed the first humanoid robot.
Michael. Michael, this is Osimo.
How come you dressed in a robot suit? It's not a suit. I'm a real robot. My name, Osimo, stands for Advanced Step in Innovative Mobility. I'm the world's most advanced humanoid robot. I can walk forwards, backwards, and even climb stairs just like a human. So, what's the first rule about crossing the street?
Stopping at curbs.
Correct. First, always stop at the curb. Then make sure no cars are coming. You want to look left.
It's clear.
Then right to see if any cars are coming from the other direction.
That's clear too.
Cars move fast. There might already be a new car to the left. So look left again.
Car coming.
See what I mean?
Okay, he's gone.
Kids love this. They relate to Osimo as well as the younger children relate to Otto, who is an animated automobile. And he tells them about crossing streets. Osimo does the same thing, and he actually goes through with the children and tells them how to cross the street at an intersection with a traffic light, with the pedestrian crossing. He also teaches them how to cross because a lot of children at schools have parked cars. He goes over the issues of how to cross when there are parked cars. So he does a number of different things, how to cross the street when there are no sidewalks. So they both cover the basic skills. One is just geared a little bit more for the different age groups.
I think it was really nice because they had a real life robot talk to you about safety, and you got to actually do what he said was safe. He said when there are parked cars to make sure there are no drivers in before you cross the street.
It's a good idea because, like I said, the kids could walk through the whole process of crossing streets with the crosswalk, without a crosswalk, at the intersection. What happens if you're crossing in between two parked cars? Those are things that parents don't teach their kids. They go to Safety Town and they learn left, look right, look left again, and they go. And even my own son, who's a kindergartner, he just did Safety Town, and I still catch him flying across the street. And all I have to do is say, Matthew, remember Osimo? And he stops and he thinks and he does all the steps that he was taught in the video.
It was a great refresher, especially for them, now knowing, what to do and kind of even additional things that they may not have been told or considered before.
Most of the kids did their little safety program back when they were getting ready to go to kindergarten. They start out learning all those safety rules. Then as time goes on, if you don't reinforce those safety rules and keep telling them, just like we do as adults, we think we're safe. We don't have to follow those rules anymore. We can do what we want. We can take a chance and run across the road. And I think this program was very good at reinforcing the fact that even though we're growing up, we still have to be careful. We still have to follow the signs. We still have to follow the railroad crossings, especially around here in Amherst. We tend to have a little trouble with the railroad crossings and kids wanting to play on them. So I think it was a good review. I think it was done in a fun, learning way, and the kids really enjoyed it. We were very happy to have everyone here at St. Joseph's School.
In 2009, Mr. Carney felt that if we expanded the program and went into the technological era, that we could cover more schools and help more students. We felt that second, third, and fourth graders would get much more out of it and enjoy it if it was on a computer. We use one disc that's called Walk Smart for second and third graders. It teaches the children where to walk. It teaches them things that they should know about traffic signals. And the third part of it is watching for cars. The fourth grade disc is called Safer Journey. That is in a three-part section with a fourth part that's added called Library, so that if they want to go back in as fourth graders and actually look up anything that they just viewed, it will give them a description. Each one allows the student to interact on the computer individually.
While you move the mouse back and forth. Try it.
We thought the student will look at it, because they love to work on computers, so that they would look at it as fun and a game, and each student can work at their own level or at their own pace.
Our response has been amazing.
They enjoy being on the computer, so I think just by clicking and being able to listen and observe those things, it's more interactive with them. This program is teaching the skills of being more observant as they're crossing the street and being more aware of what's going on around them.
It makes me work harder. We have to guess if the cars can come from which way. Gets my brain on learning. It helps me learn how to cross streets and how to watch for cars.
You have to look both ways when you go across the street and everything, because it would actually teach me something.
You know, sometimes we just think that students know exactly where they should be walking. There's a sidewalk and we know that they should cross at the light and look both ways.
It tells you what to do and what not to do in the street.
This just reinforces, because sometimes the students don't know all of those things. They haven't always been taught. They are much better off for being part of the program.
If it saves one life, we feel like we've made a contribution. It's our way to give back to the communities.
Small towns, urban fringe and suburban developments, rural communities across the country, a small mining village in the Northwest, coastal residential areas. Across America, communities have learned that sewers and central wastewater treatment plants are not the only way to have a comfortable standard of living. A well-organized community on-site wastewater management system, or OMS, can ensure public health, enhance water quality, protect property values, sustain the environment, and accommodate growth for the long term. Examples abound nationwide. Some communities have implemented an on-site wastewater management system from the beginning. Others have developed an OMS to address specific concerns or to correct failing conditions. All are successfully using wastewater treatment systems located in or near their own yards. But are on-site systems a modern way to treat wastewater? Are they really that dependable? Historically, seepage pits and septic systems were constructed without much siting or design guidance and received little maintenance. Failures were common. During the post-war housing boom in the late 1940s and early 1950s, millions of septic systems were installed. Despite improved septic tank designs, there were still widespread failures.
Of course, the reasons that they failed early on was that we never recognized differences in soil and soil acceptance rates. Well, as a result of these continuing failures, it was reasoned that these systems are unreliable.
Treatment begins in the septic tank. Solids and floating matter separate from the wastewater. The wastewater is then dispersed to the soil where most treatment occurs. New knowledge about soil has led to success with septic systems.
The idea is that the soil contains numerous bacteria, and that the bacteria then aid in purifying the liquid as it passes by.
With the air found in loose soil to breathe, and with the food and the wastewater to eat, the organisms multiply and go to work. The water clears in as little as 2 feet of good soil. But good soil is not found everywhere. Only about 1/3 of the United States has soil suitable for conventional systems. However, there are methods that make up for site limitations. An artificial drain field or mound can be built, augmenting thin soils. Or the biological action of soil can be put in a box of sand or other media. These media filters are then used to pre-treat the wastewater before it is dispersed to the drain field. Another method of pre-treatment is to blow air directly into a wastewater container where suspended organisms are present. The organisms breathe, eat, and multiply. When no more food is available, they die and settle, leaving clarified wastewater. These aerobic treatment units, or ATUs, pre-treat the wastewater before it is dispersed. There are many variations in on-site system design, but all utilize the same natural biological processes. David Van Huysen, Texas designer and consultant, has been working with innovative on-site systems for many years.
The whole community doesn't have to be at one point or the other. The whole community doesn't have to be all centralized or all on-site. It doesn't have to all be this level of cluster or this level of cluster. You can have different areas of the community that could be managed in different ways. The idea is that the whole thing is one management system.
If a good drain field cannot be found on everyone's lot, a cluster system may be a practical solution. Each house may have its own septic tank, but they are all connected to a single drain field. Cluster systems can be included with a variety of other on-site treatment methods within one effective community management system. The California oceanfront settlement of Stinson Beach has operated a successful on-site management system for over 25 years. The 700 residences and businesses occupy very small lots served by on-site systems. In the 1970s, many septic systems were failing. To avoid the high cost and the population increase that sewers and a central plant might bring, committed residents developed an on-site wastewater plan using innovative alternative systems managed by the Stinson Beach County Water District.
The engineering firm that I worked for before dealt with centralized systems. I thought that at one time that was the only way to go, and I thought that septic systems were basically an old method until I came here at Stinson Beach. Looking at the way these systems operate and the monitoring system that we have here, I feel that the cost effectiveness of these systems more than outweighs the cost of a centralized system.
The conventional and advanced on-site systems here are continually monitored and maintained to assure protection of the sensitive environment.
I think the management program here will work in just about every location. If it's done properly and it's managed properly, you should not have a problem. These systems could probably last 40 to 50 years without a problem.
Near the American River, in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, the planned community of Auburn Lake Trails has been successfully using conventional on-site systems, mounds, and sand filters for 20 years, monitored and managed by the Public Utility District.
The reason our zone works so well is because we've done such extensive work in defining the problems in the soil. And once those limitations have been identified, then we can engineer something that can address the limitations in the soil. But it does require some advanced technology.
We test the effluent straight out of the sand filters themselves, and our district engineer has been very impressed how clean the water is inside these sand filters before they get dosed to the leach lines. It's important that these sand filters do their job. Otherwise, it could send the effluent right down to our creeks and contaminate our creeks and streams. And we've never had a positive sample in our streams.
When you have a problem with a septic tank, you have maybe a 250 gallon a day problem. When you have a problem with the sewer system, you've got 1 million gallons a day. And for rural America, dealing with a 250 gallon a day problem makes a lot more sense than trying to deal with 1 million. I'm very glad I don't have to deal with 1 million gallons of untreated sewage when there's a problem.
In Edison, Washington, shellfish beds were being polluted by the local tidal slough, which contained effluent from failing septic systems and directly discharged waste. Doris Robbins and her neighbors were determined to find a solution that would not be too economically disruptive.
We had to keep the expense down because this is a fairly low-income community with 4 generations of people living here. We wanted to keep them here.
To serve the 75 homes and businesses, community volunteers helped build a gravel filter. The local school district, also a major stakeholder, provided the high ground for the drain field and shares in the management of the system.
We were able to cut the costs per site from $20,000 to $7,000. And then for a certain income level, their costs were cut even further to $3,000. The first summer, people commented on how the slough didn't stink anymore.
In the Midwestern farm village of Klossner, Minnesota, old septic systems were failing. Soil limitations were overcome by installing new mounds and clusters. The nearby hamlet of St. George had similar problems.
The community was in a violation threat from the county and from the MPCA, and they realized that they had to do something. And at that point in time, they came to the township to try and get some help with the county and try to find answers.
The township planned and enabled a community on-site management system, installing a cluster to serve the 23 homes in the management entity.
As to management, people realize when they invest that kind of money nowadays into a septic system, just like you do a car, just like you do a house, you need to protect it, you need to take care of it. They may not know how to take care of it, and that's why we implement management tools that either help them understand so they can do it themselves, or if they don't choose to, someone will do it for them, and therefore they are protected.
In the late 1970s, people in Otter Tail County, Minnesota, noticed a decline in the water quality in their lakes. They decided to replace failing septic systems and start an on-site management system. Roland Mann administers the OMS that ensures the proper functioning of over 1,500 on-site systems in the district.
Your sludge accumulates, your scum accumulates in your tanks, and they definitely need to be checked, and everybody's system is different. One house can have to be pumped every 2 years, another one might not have to be pumped for every 6 or 7 years. That's what we're finding. And it just all goes back to usage, and the only way to find out is to monitor it, check the tank, see what's in there, see what's coming out of the tank. If you don't, obviously the longevity of the system is going to be curtailed immensely. Water clarity in the lakes had definitely improved. You could go out and you could see the bottom a lot better than you ever could.
In North Carolina, the area around Elizabeth City has extremely high water tables. Residents there use septic systems managed by the Albemarle Regional Health Services on-site management entity. The OMS has been so successful that several adjacent counties have joined it.
Years ago, before we started the ME program, we had like a 30% failure rate. Since we started the ME program, we had a 1% failure rate. That to me says a whole lot for the management entity program.
Many who work in Washington, D.C. live in nearby Fairfax County. The county health department's on-site management system, perhaps the first in the country, has overseen septic systems for more than half a century. Among the various management procedures, periodic pump-outs by licensed contractors are required. Management reviews ensure that the OMS can adapt to meet changing needs. Today it serves about 25,000 on-site systems.
Based on the Clean Water Act of 1972, everyone thought that we were going to have sewers. And so a mindset developed that septic tanks are only temporary. We're going to have sewers. Well, now, today, we recognize clearly that we're not going to have sewers, but that mindset hasn't changed. We've been doing work here at UC Davis on intermittent sand fillers, textile filters, and the quality that you get is superior to what you produce at a wastewater treatment plant. And so, from a treatment standpoint, on-site systems don't have to take a back seat to more conventional facilities.
And because we can focus all of our attention on the treatment process, and we don't have to worry about the collection part of the process, it's really a much more cost-effective option than when you look at a central system, especially for suburban or rural areas.
Communities of people in rural areas really choose to live there, are proud of their community, and justifiably so, and want to take care of problems themselves. And this is a very, very appropriate way for a community to have a high standard of living with protecting the environment, protect the public health, but still maintain that rural character.
Most of our staff has realized that you can't economically sewer all rural areas. In the areas that we have left that need additional, either for public health reasons or water quality reasons, wastewater treatment, this could be a viable option with the management component so that you achieve the desired treatment results and ensure the long-term viability of the systems.
in our office, the on-site and decentralized program, is one of our key initiatives. That's what we're promoting, is to look at the options, consider decentralized systems where you can get the community involved very early in the process, give them the information that they need to demonstrate that these are viable options.
Located in Morgantown, West Virginia, on the campus of West Virginia University, the National Environmental Services Center specializes in providing information and professional expertise in water quality and wastewater issues to interested communities throughout the country.
One of our primary areas of focus at the center is to actually move out and to visit with and to assist communities at the local level. Community leaders, local decision makers, and residents of communities across America have a good, clear understanding much of the time about many of the issues that concern them. But they don't necessarily know where to draw on the resources, the expertise, or to receive the technical assistance. And so we here at our center send out into the field experts, draw on that resource, provide products and services and other related and ancillary support to enable communities to define and design their own destinies.
A community really only has two choices. If change is inevitable and progress is optional, you can choose to do nothing. If you choose to do nothing, then the destiny of the community is not really in the community's hands. It's in the hands of those people who are creating the change. We have numerous communities around the United States that have been successfully using management entities of some form or another, in some cases for decades. And they have been able to do it successfully. So our job really here is to say, look at what others have done. We'll help you with understanding how others have accomplished this. It's not decision making at levels where you have to be fearful about what the outcome is. It's sorting through the options to design something that's good for your community.
Carpooling, a great way to save on fuel, tolls, and parking. Serving 13 counties, secure and safe Ohio rideshare makes it easy to connect with carpool partners safely. You control information shared. Discuss your destinations and needs through our safe site. Carpooling reduces pollution and traffic congestion, while it lowers stress and gives riders time to read, work, sleep, socialize. 1-800-825-RIDE or register online at ohiorideshare.com. Point, click, ride. Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the September 28th, 2011 Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Williams has the dog this morning.
Good morning. We have a great golden retriever here, just very friendly. Going to be available on October 1st after 3 o'clock here. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the dog?
Yes, this one was picked up on Clinton Avenue, Lorain. Came in yesterday, has a stray, and also got a full house at the pound, so we appreciate it. Anybody come and get these animals out of there, please.
Okay. How many dogs do we have in the
We got a full house, totally.
Full house?
No empty cages.
Okay.
Wow. Yes, it's pretty bad.
Let's see if the dog can do
No
anything.
need.
Anything? Oh. Oh.
Nope, doesn't want it.
Huh?
Oh, there you go.
There it goes. Kind of like you, Jim. Just likes to eat.
Madam Clerk?
Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Advances, repayments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the airport, approve modification number 1 to Richland Engineering Limited, contract for engineering services in the amount not to exceed $53,954 to be paid from the airport professional services account. Said modification is provided ongoing construction services, construction administration, observation and record drawings at actual costs and services are eligible for reimbursement from FAA at 95% federal share and 5% local share.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cordez?
Thank you, Commissioner Kalo. I do have a couple potential new hires, one in the Commissioner's office, one in the Workforce Development Agency that I wish to discuss with the board. Also, an ongoing matter of negotiation with United Steelworkers of America. I think that'll be it this morning. We need a quick morning because we had editorial board. So both of those topics are allowable under the Sunshine Law for executive session talk. So I ask at the conclusion of our regular board meetings, hey, we go into executive session to discuss those items. Thank you.
Wow, you said that fast.
Yeah.
Just trying to get like me, huh? Approve and waive the reading of the same County Commissioners meeting minutes of September 21st, 2011.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Under Community Development, award contract to J.A. Kilby Enterprises, Inc., North Ridgeville, in the amount of $7,205 for grant assistance for Victoria George at 324 North Lake Street, South Amherst. This is for wastewater lines, bathroom floor, ADA water closet and vent, ADA shower and faucet, ADA sink faucet, and exhaust fan. 22 invitations were sent, 2 bids were received, this being the most complying with specifications, and will be paid from the CHIP home repair account, and this also includes a contingency for any unforeseen change orders.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, I have a question. This is a duplex, you're aware of that, and just making sure that she lives there and the rental income, is it rented, the other side rented out?
Yeah, I do not know whether or not it's rented out. I do know that we had confirmed her income.
You have to go, I know, but is there rental income from the other side that's been taken into account? I wasn't aware that we were allowed to do rental property as as an investment income.
The owner lives in this unit, and we had re-verified her income. And while I'm not aware exactly of what composed all of her income, she did fall well below the threshold.
Okay, so we are allowed to use rental properties?
This is the unit we're fixing is a property she lives in.
Okay.
And she is the homeowner?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Right, thank you.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Did you say aye?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Support the annual comprehensive economic development strategy, SEDS, update for 2011-2012.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Approve the analysis of impediments to fair housing choice 2011 and confirm the county's commitment to firmly further fair housing choice and this condition of HUD funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
We're going to go to 16 first because this should be first rather than Children's Services because this is under Community Development.
Okay.
So advertise for bids for Sheffield Township Sewer Facility Improvement Project at Albany Avenue. Notice be in the Chronicle on September 30th and October 7th, and the bids be open October 17th at 2 o'clock.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Under Children's Services, authorize an addition in personnel for Children's Services to utilize the agency's Visa card for 2011.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
No additional comments this morning, thank you.
Mr. Ennis, Assistant County Prosecutor?
Commissioners, I do have one issue of pending court action that I would like to discuss in executive session.
Commissioners report.
Yeah, I have a couple things. I have a question. Somebody handed me an email and asked me if it was true or not. But it says, did you know if your house sells after 2012, you'll pay a 3.8% sales tax on it? Is that something new that's coming down from the state? Does anyone know? There's some kind of new tax coming on houses. Can somebody find that out?
Nothing I've heard of.
You haven't heard anything about that?
No clue.
No.
Where'd you get that from?
Somebody gave it to me, sent me an email and asked me that question. They heard that we have to, if you sell your house after 2012, there's going to be an additional 3.8% tax on it when you sell it. No? Hopefully that's
Okay.
not true. Can you look into it, or I don't even know how to find out if that's true or not?
Sounds like a rumor. Check Snopes.
Snopes. Okay, I did get a call from a county bus garage, not a county bus garage, a school bus garage within our county. And I guess Michelle Obama is now pulling all the vending machines out of the schools because she wants only healthy snacks and drinks, so you can only get like diet pop and maybe water or something. But they pulled it out of the bus garage, which is, only adults, so I was kind of disturbed by that. And then I'm not sure if it's been reported or not, but we are going to have an early primary, the March 6th primary with a December 7th filing deadline. Is that true? I saw that in some of our correspondence. So is
Yep.
that a done deal?
Yep.
Okay. And then we all went out to Penfield this week and talked to them about our sales tax, and I think we got a very good response out there, a lot of good questions. Both of my fellow commissioners did an outstanding job, especially Ted. He knows these numbers like off the top of his head. But I was disturbed, and I did call the Chronicle yesterday because it had stated in the newspaper that one of the things on the chopping block were deputies, and that was never discussed in any one of our presentations. As a matter of fact, we had talked about the fact that even during these tough economic times, we've been doing whatever we can to increase road patrol, not decrease road patrol. And I just found out this morning, if you want to come up draws, we may be even adding some more deputies on top of the 3 that we're going to see with combining our sheriff's dispatch and 911, looks like we found out about 15 minutes ago that we're going to get a COPS grant that we've been applying for and asking for a long time. So if I'm going to turn that over to Draws right now.
Yep, you're right. Like I said, about 15 minutes ago, we got a call from Senator Brown's office indicating that the COPS grant we applied for this year has been approved, and the county is going to receive $498,000 and change to bring 2 deputies back, and this will be paid over a 3-year period. It'll be
the county responsible
a federal,
for the
yeah,
fourth year?
the county will be responsible for a portion of it, and the federal government's going to pay for the rest of it. But that'll give us 2 more additional deputies in conjunction with the 3 that you guys are going to give us back. This will give us a lot of ability to start doing what we need to do.
Yeah.
I
What
mean,
portion do we have
we're
to
just
pay?
overwhelmed out
The
there.
first year's 10 or 11,000. The second year was,
Remember, Teresa?
boy.
I don't
Percent.
remember the
I have
numbers.
the
I remember we
spreadsheet,
gave the
but-
spreadsheet. Yeah, the first year's like $10,000.
Yeah, minimal.
Based on with what we're going right now, I don't see us actually getting the money for another 60 or so days, simply because once they send us the award package, we got to fill that out, send that all back. It could be 60 to 90 days where we actually get the money in our accounts.
So the first of the year, probably.
It's probably going to be close to the end of the year or first of the year.
We can just take a little additional out of the savings from the consolidation of services, if the board is so desirous of that.
We're still